Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so we are playing the Dallas Mavericks today, Laker fans. 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Eastern in Dallas, and of course, it's another early game. We're not too thrilled with these, but it is what it is. So, Dallas is coming off a five-game losing streak, and of course, they're dealing with a lot of injuries, man. One of being uh, Luka the Don. Luka Doncic is going to be out. I'm not sure how long, but he's definitely out tonight. And Kyrie Irving is expected to miss about another week or two with some sort of back injury slash illness. I don't really know exactly what's going on with Kyrie, but it's being said that he will not be available tonight. Now, if that changes, it wouldn't surprise me because obviously his ties to the Lakers and this and that. LeBron James, but ultimately he's considered out. You're also looking at a few other injuries for Dallas. Daniel Gafford is out, so that's another big deal, to be honest with you guys. Definitely happy he's not playing tonight. And Dante Exum is out as well. So, yeah, for the Lakers, Gabe Vincent is a game time decision. Christian Wood is out. Cam Reddish is a game time decision. Didn't know he was on the injury report. LeBron James game time decision, and Jalen Hood Shafino is out. So, yeah, one name I don't see on the injury report is Jared Vanderbilt. So let me see if I'm tripping or is he actually not there? Because that is something I wasn't expecting to not see, to say the least. I'd assume he's still out, but yeah, he's out. They just didn't have him on here. Yeah, so he's continuing to be out, but he's taking steps forward. So yes, Vando is out. That's why I didn't overreact to that because I'm like, I'm almost certain he's not ready to go yet. And if he is ready to go, then they're probably rushing him, and that's probably a mistake. But nevertheless, he's still out. We're going to take our time there. Um, the Dallas Mavericks have been losing games, as I said, 5-game losing streak. Since Luka's been out, they haven't really been winning much of anything. They've lost like 6 of their last 7 games or something like that. We're 1/2 game ahead of them. I believe that's how that works in the standings. And I can check to make darn sure, but this is a teetering type of situation where whoever wins this game um, just steps ahead of the other team. But since these teams are tight, as it pertains to like 4 or 5 teams in the same record range, you're going to see a lot of fluctuation. So it feels good for bragging rights to say that you are in 4th place or 5th place or whatever. But the reality is this is going to teeter a lot. Between 4 and 7, a lot of parity is there. Denver's 20 and 14, Lakers 20 and 15, Dallas 20 and 16, Clippers 20 and 16. So every day someone's going to be able to say we're in that spot, we're in this spot. You're basically in 4-way tie for 7th place. That's how I'm going to look at it. Make ourselves continue to work. So yeah, that's where we're at, man. We got this Dallas game coming up, and they are so very depleted. So the chances of you losing this game is probably not very high, but if you don't show up, you will lose the game. I mean, it's that simple. Dallas does have some guys we need to respect. And even without Luka and Kyrie and Daniel Gafford, one being PJ Washington, who I expect to be probably their leading scorer tonight, or at least somebody they expect should be their leading scorer tonight. So be careful with him. Another guy by the name of Klay Thompson, you may have heard of him. He's a pretty solid shooter, to say the least. And this is a night where if you take the Dallas Mavericks lightly, he mess around and have the type of game that Klay's capable of having, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a bad situation. Another player that I like a lot that they have is Derek Lively II. Derek Lively was a center that they drafted last year with the 10th overall pick. And he's developed fantastically for them, and at this point, he's one of their main players, especially with everybody out. Spencer Dinwiddie, got to pay attention to Spencer Dinwiddie. He obviously played for the Lakers second half of last year. We didn't re-sign him. He thought he was coming back. So, I'd imagine he's going to want to really take a lot of his frustrations out on this basketball team tonight. And if he plays well, it can be a huge problem. Quentin Grimes, a guy that they have. I really liked him when he played for the Knicks, got traded to Detroit. Got lost there. Now is starting to find his way back to the way he was playing when he was with the Knicks, now with Dallas. So I expect for him to have a huge role for them tonight without their main guys. So yeah, pay attention to Quentin Grimes and Jaden Hardy. Jaden Hardy's been really starting to come along pretty strong for them off the bench. He was 5 of 10 against the Memphis Grizzlies last night. 3 of 5 from behind the arc. So this could be a Hardy party, as their announcers say. You know, don't take him lightly when those other big guys are out. You're gonna see the Grimes and the Hardys and the Liveleys and the Thompsons take over. It's gonna be real there. So Dinwiddie, of course, he's capable of having a big game. He just had 30 a few nights ago, so don't take him lightly. They have a player that I'm curious about by the name of Brandon Williams. Hit or miss as it pertains to the minutes that he's going to get. Some nights he plays, some nights he doesn't. But he did have a couple of finishes at the rim that I thought were pretty damn impressive in the highlights that I watched. So I just want us to keep an eye on Brandon Williams. If he steps in the game, don't really take him lightly. He can't shoot the three very well, but he really does have a nice all-around game. He's not bad at other aspects of basketball, and it looks like there's something there. That's what I will say. Don't expect to see him tonight, but there may be something there. That's all I'm saying with Brandon Williams. So keep an eye on that particular player. Omax Prosper. Definitely like Omax. He missed most of last season with an injury. Another rookie that they picked up. Good defensive player. Very good driving at the rim. He didn't get but 1 minute last night, which is a head scratcher for me, but I do expect he will have some type of role with this team as they continue to develop him. And throughout the course of the last 5 games, he has had some minutes and has done good things with him. So I don't know what happened yesterday with him not getting minutes. Probably better with him not on the floor for us, but he's one of the better on-ball defenders, and is really athletic and can really have some power driving at the rim from what I saw. So keep an eye open for Omax Prosper, man. That is a good player who's developing and will have a name in this league before it's over with. So yeah, these are the type of things that I'm looking at here. Najee Marshall, another guy they gave 33 minutes to last night. He was 5 of 15, 2 of 6 from behind the arc. Heavy on the defense with Najee Marshall. We know that from his days with the New Orleans Pelicans. He had 2 steals last night, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. So he's more than capable of being a problem. Obviously, with a chip on his shoulder, he's the one that got into it with Nurkic and all of these different things that transpired there. So I know that he's a lively type of player, so to speak. He's definitely going to be there for his team. He's going to play physical basketball on both sides of the floor. He's going to try to get to the line, and if he does, he could be a problem. He was the leading guy at the line yesterday for the Dallas Mavericks in their 119-104 loss to the Memphis Grizzlies, where really Jaren Jackson just went completely off. Jaren Jackson had 35 points, 3 steals, 1 block, 5 assists, and 13 rebounds. And Jalen Wells also crashed the glass on him pretty hard for 17 points, 11 rebounds. And then Conchar crashed the glass on him with 13 boards as well. So they just couldn't keep up with the rebounding prowess of this Memphis team, sort of like our Lakers couldn't keep up with the rebounding prowess of the Rockets that we saw in our last game. And that was not very fun for us. Losing to the Rockets, we were down by 22 early in the game, only to come back and lose by a few mistakes down the stretch when we had fought our way back. So I thought the effort was good, but we didn't have our thinking cap on against the Rockets, and it showed. Just looking back on the Dallas Mavericks, of course they played last night, but they also had a game before that against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They really have played the same teams we've played over the last 5 games. Swap out the Hawks for the Memphis Grizzlies. Other than that, the last 4 games have been the same people we played. The Cleveland Cavaliers, the Rockets, the Kings, and the Blazers, for which they lost all them damn games. Every last one. So that's why losing to them while they're down this many players, while they're this short-handed, is egregious, because they can't seem to beat anybody. Cleveland went in there and did what Cleveland does. You know how Cleveland moves. They shot the ball. They played defense. They crashed the glass. They took care of the basketball, and they got out of there with an easy win. 134 to 122. I thought it was pretty impressive that Dallas put up 122 points against them, but, you couldn't defend worth a damn. The defense that Dallas put on out there was awful. So that's really what hurt them. And in that game, Mobley had a big game for 34 points. So you're looking at the Dallas Mavericks further on. You rewind even further. They played the Rockets before that in a game that we had already done homework on because, of course, we saw the Rockets last. And that was a game where multiple players had like 6 and 7 steals. So they really turned the ball over a lot, did Dallas. And that's a recipe for success for us as well. You got to try to force them to do that with some of their best ball handlers, obviously not on the floor. 20 turnovers that they had off of 17 steals for the Rockets. So the Rockets really put the clamps on them, held them to 99 points. And, being shorthanded kind of hurt them. Kyrie did play, but of course, as long as Luka's out, they're not even there. Half of what it is they do is all in him. So that's really what it was to see there. The Rockets just put the steel clamps on them. Between Fred VanVleet and Sengun, they had 11 steals. So that'll tell you all you need to know there. The game before that was a rather interesting game against the Kings. And the Kings beat them 110 to 100. They only scored 100 points again, so they're having trouble scoring there. Shot 42% from the field. Both teams did, actually. And they got to the line quite a bit. We got to keep an eye open for them getting to the line, man. 24 or 29 from the free throw line. We don't want them getting to the line on us that much. But they ultimately got crushed on the boards by the Kings. 58 to 36, just crushed. 18 offensive rebounds given up by the Dallas Mavericks. Just like horrific stuff going on there on the glass. So that's the success level to reach. You gotta kill them on the glass, man. You got to try to kill them on the glass. And it doesn't look like Lively played in that one, so that probably catered to why they were getting crushed on the glass so bad. But yeah, Sabonis had 16 of them. Alex Len had 8 of them. Malik Monk had 7. Murray and Fox both had 6. Keon Ellis had 5. So they just crushed them on the glass. Sabonis and Alex Len offensively just crushed them on the glass. So that's really what you see there. Fox with 33 points. Trey Lyles with 14 off the bench. And as it pertains to the Dallas Mavericks, this was the game where Spencer Dinwiddie had 30 points. P.J. Washington had 28. So we do have to keep an eye open for Spencer Dinwiddie. Keep him from running out there on the line. You know, we said that they got to the line a lot. It was him. 11 to 12 from the line there, and P.J. got to the line a lot, 8 out of 10. So the Kings, while crushing them on the glass, could not keep Dinwiddie and P.J. off the free throw line. We need to make sure we don't let Spencer Dinwiddie have no 11 made free throws on us. That cannot work. We do not want him having a fantastic game tonight. Him and Klay Thompson going off at the same times. Quentin Grimes, P.J. Washington, they have plenty of talent. If they figure out how to play with one another without Luka and Kyrie, they can be a team that has players that can go off. So that's really what I know. Jaden Hardy, you do not want to take this team too lightly tonight, even though they've been losing. They lost to the Portland Trail Blazers, obviously a bad loss. I think this was the first game Luka didn't play. We did homework on this one as well when we played the Blazers a few games ago. This is the game where Kyrie Irving went for 46 points and still lost. And that's simply because he didn't have a whole lot of help from the bench. Well, Quentin Grimes gave him 15, 3 and 6, and 1 steal, 1 block. So he did have a good game. 5 of 10 from that field, 3 of 5 from the 3. So this is a big Quentin game. Jaden Hardy was 4 of 7 from the field, 3 of 6 from behind the arc. So they got that production, but other than that, they couldn't get a whole lot from other people. Yeah, that's kind of how that went. 5 of 17 from Klay. Bad Klay night. 2 of 8 from behind the arc. So, they played a tough game against Portland, but Portland somehow beat them, man. Shooting 42% from behind the arc, 50% from the field, so they shot well. Killed them on the glass, as everybody else does, 50 to 40. 14 offensive rebounds given up by Dallas, so that's where we can get them. And, Portland killed them in the paint, which I think we can duplicate as well. 58 points to their 38. So if we keep them out of the paint, score in the paint, control the glass, we beat the Dallas Mavericks. That's going to be how that plays out for us. So that's what I want to say, man. That is where we're at as it pertains to the last 5 games of the Dallas Mavericks, rather. I watched all of those highlights, most of which I didn't even have to watch this time because of the fact that we played all these dang teams. And what I took from it is just they're a very good team that's depleted right now. They got hit with the injury bug at the wrong time. They have some very impressive wins this season against teams like OKC, and they beat San Antonio several times, Minnesota. They have wins against Denver, against New York, against Atlanta, against Memphis. They've beaten some good teams, man. They were a really good team before Luka went down. But just like anybody, when a superstar goes down, it just goes downhill from there. And Kyrie getting hurt didn't help. So they're hemorrhaging losses. They need a victory. They got us coming in. We're coming off a loss. Don't let this be the game that they get right. Because we have had a game like that before where a team was on a losing streak and we let them get right off of us. Don't let it happen tonight, LA. Come in sharp. Be ready for this basketball team because at the end of the day, if we show up the way we're supposed to, they're going to lose. They don't have what they need to compete with us, even on their home court. So that's really what it comes down to, man. Just looking at the jerseys tonight, the Lakers will be wearing their alternate Lake Show jerseys, the black ones, and then purple, fade, yellow, and all that good stuff. I like those jerseys a lot. And the Mavs will be wearing their road unis, their gray and white road unis. Really, really interesting stuff there. If that would just stay there for half a second so you can see it. But yeah, that is what they're wearing tonight. Rather cool uniforms, if you ask me. I think they have an alternate floor to go along with it. So we'll see what that looks like tonight. It should be rather gray. And yeah, man, this might be the last game I have my extra phone. So all these numbers that I've been calling out, you're gonna see me go back to more cerebral talking from what homework off of my memory stuff, and I'll probably be very rusty without my phone having been relying upon those stats for the last month, enjoying that extra phone. So it did make for more accurate quality from me, but I'm not about to pay for two phones, y'all. You already know how I get down. It's not gonna happen. So this is probably the last game where I'll be able to do that. So we'll enjoy our stats tonight, and we'll get back to how I used to do things, and hopefully you'll be cool with that. But yeah, man, that's what it is. 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. Lakers in Dallas. This is one of the ones you can't afford to lose. I was looking at the Lakers schedule. Right now, we see over the next 10 games, probably about 6 or 7 of those games are winnable. You see in Washington, you see in Brooklyn, you got the Spurs back-to-back, twice, or rather, it's not really back-to-back, but twice. You know, you should win these games, man. These are games that you win. You got Miami in there. You know, we got to pay them back for just blowing us out when we saw them last. And I think most of those games are winnable, man. I really do. After that, it gets hard, man. It gets really hard. Not only do we have some tough teams, we have some ridiculous scheduling going on. You got a situation somewhere down the road where you're going to play Utah here. Then you're going to fly to Utah for a back-to-back and start a 3-game road trip. So it's like that type of stuff. Your team is going to be tired. You're probably going to drop some games that have your schedule like that. You got Denver and Milwaukee. Then like 7 days later, you play Denver and Milwaukee again. You got back-to-backs with the Clippers, back-to-backs with OKC, back-to-backs with Utah, as already mentioned, back-to-backs with the Spurs, as in not consecutive nights except for the Utah one, but you'll see those two teams in clusters. So it's going to get weird. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get frustrating. You're going to start seeing some of the same teams over and over again, just like we did at the beginning of the season. The pattern from which this schedule was set up is going to get very annoying and tedious for all of us. So it was nice. We had a good end of December where we got some rest. You know, some of these 4:30 games weren't happening as frequently. We're going to have a stretch early at the end of the month, I think, I think it's the end of the month here, where we're going to see a lot of games be at 4:30 and 4 out of 5 nights on the road type crap. It's coming, man. So you got to take care of the next 10 games. That's basically what I'm here to say. These games can tether your seeding in a major way. The Lakers have been a fantastic team at taking care of the ones they're supposed to win. That has not really been a problem at all for us. It cannot start being a problem tonight. That's what I'm saying to you. We got to continue to beat these bad teams, rack up as many good wins as we can, because there are going to be some games on the second half of the schedule that you could play your best and probably still lose. That's the truth. And no telling how healthy is going to be. And in the end, in the last 10 games, you got 2 games against OKC. You got Denver down there. You got Golden State. You got a bunch of stuff that's going to probably result in you fighting against good teams, hoping to make the playoffs if you start dropping these games right here. So the urgency to win this game and the games in this cluster is crucial, because if you're going to have urgency at the end of the year trying to fight your way in the playoffs, this is when you find yourself in a position to determine how much urgency is necessary. You got to take care of the win like tonight, especially against a team like Dallas, of whom you only see 3 times, and both of their stars are out and one of their bigs is out. This is a must-win basketball game. Have the urgency now that you're going to have against OKC when you see them twice and you're fighting like hell to try to get your seeding or to stay in the playoffs. This is when you start realizing that what happens there is really affected by what happens here. So get this damn victory tonight in Dallas, man. We need this one, especially since Luke and Kyrie will be in street clothes. So that's pretty much what I got to say. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching.